daily soccer podcast with the Global Sports Podcast Network.
To the Daily Newcastle. My name is Iain Mackay. I am your host tonight. I'm on my own, as I am on many Wednesday nights. But I'm on my own having watched Union Saint-Gilloise 0, Newcastle United 4 over in Belgium. Newcastle finally get their Champions League campaign kicked off with some drama of the best kind. With an absolutely fantastic 4-0 away win. A great performance. And I'm here to give you my immediate post-match reaction. Two changes from the lineup against Arsenal. One enforced, Tino obviously out, although delighted to hear today that Tino's knee injury is not an ACL injury which would put him out for the rest of the season, but he should be back within 6 to 8 weeks. Hopefully he's a fast healer. That'll have him back by the end of November, which is good. Kieran Trippier took his place, pretty standard. We lined up with 4-3-3, so Dan Burn playing left back again. Chow and Botman, who I'm starting to think are our best two centre halves. They played centre half. Pope kept his position in goal. Of course, Joelinton, Tonali, and Bruno played in midfield, and then we got, as I predicted, Gordon down the left, Alanga down the right, and Big Nick, Volta Messi, Berber Crouch up front. Miles off Kev and Joe, by the way, on your predicted lineup last night on the big preview. Pretty much spot on, Iain. Well done when you had a quick chat with Nicola about it, finishing off the Arsenal review. But we'll not go there. These guys performed really, really well. I think the first 10 minutes was a little bit of finding out a little bit about each other. Maybe the Newcastle team had heard, as I did, about Union Saint-Gilloise being Belgian champions, having taken points off Liverpool in previous European campaigns, and AC Milan, seen that they'd won 3-1 away from home against PSV in the first of the Champions League round. Top of the Belgian league at the moment. So they did came out looking like I was a bit psyched out by them, because it did look on paper they're in pot 4 with us, so this was our easiest on paper away game in the Champions League, one we ought to be looking to win if we were going to progress into the knockout stages. And I was a little bit psyched out going into it, for the team not really in great form, and them looking like they really were in form. But I needn't have worried. After the first 10 minutes where we sort of sparred a little bit to find out a little bit about each other, we started to take control. I think Tonali and Bruno were very good in midfield, and Alanga and Gordon going down the wings were terrific. They were very, very threatening. Alanga in particular, that's the best I've seen Alanga play for Newcastle. And that's even after the Barcelona game where he set 2 on a plate for somebody who wasn't there to put us 2 up at half time. But he was great. We scored after about 15 minutes. Half clearance shot in by Tonali that looked like it had taken a deflection. And I have to admit, I heard the first half in the car on Radio Newcastle, and they said it was a deflection. They could put it down as an own goal for a little while. But having seen it half time when I got home to watch the rest of it, that Nick Voltemada, with the deftest of touches, a little back heel to divert Tonali's shot, which I'm not sure, I think it would have been an easy save or it would have gone past the post. But Voltemada's little flick took it into the other corner, and that was us 1-0 up. We just continued playing really quite well. I think we sat back a little bit. They did have a spell. They did have a spell where they pushed forward and there were a few corners, one way over the bar from one shot. couple of shots from outside the box, which Nick Pope dealt with very straightforwardly. But we continued to threaten down each side, and it was Elanga on a run, cutting in, that was absolutely scythed down in the penalty area. The defender just lunged at him, took him out, clear penalty. Gordon, looking for all the world that he had been practicing his penalties, was very, very cool and excellently placed penalty down low to the right, where the keeper couldn't get anywhere near it. 2 up at half time, and we deserved it. We were a little bit lethargic starting in the second half, I thought. Perhaps I ought to play Bioniq and tell you about the second half of the next. That's what I'll do.
Your body is unique. And Global Sports Podcast Network has partnered with Bioniq, the world's most personalised supplements. Bioniq provide 100% tailor-made supplements designed to deliver precisely what your body needs at exactly the right levels to optimise your health. No guessing. So click the link in the show notes. Use the code GSPN2025 for 40% off your first month's subscription. Bioniq. Don't settle for off-the-shelf solutions made for just anybody. Get what's right for you right now.
So we started a bit lethargic in the second half, but to be fair, it never really felt there was any worry because Chow and Botman at the back look so assured. Even Dan Burn getting turned inside out by their winger. Honestly, I thought he'd left the stadium. He was beaten so all ends up. Didn't matter because Botman was there to cover and cut out any danger. Newcastle just kept dominating. They dominated the midfield. The wingers kept pressing. Valtamada picking the ball up and laying it off to open up the gaps for the wingers, who were in an advanced position. And I think that's the difference. We look threatening with Anthony Gordon running into the final third. We don't look threatening with him running back to help out the fullback, as he did against Arsenal, against Saka so many times. It was Anthony Gordon's delightful cross into the box, which bounced up and hit the defender on the hand. I think the defender actually does move his arm out to get it. It was a VAR that intervened for us and gave us a third penalty. I know Valtamada was appealing for it, but if it had gone unnoticed, it would have just been standard par for the course in the Premier League. However, it's the Champions League, and we all remember how Tino got caught against PSG a couple of years ago. So this was a penalty, and Gordon did exactly the same routine and beat the goalkeeper. The ball's in the back of the net before the keeper gets down to it. 3-0, and we can start taking it easy. That's not what we did, though. We didn't start taking it easy. Joe Linton, who huffed and puffed, got himself booked, wasn't as effective as normal. He came off to be replaced by Miley with half an hour left, and Lewis Miley slotted into that role. He looks assured. We can trust him. We trusted him 2 years ago as a 17-year-old. As a 19-year-old who's been in the gym for 2 years, I trust him. He's solid. Very rarely lets a pass go astray. And Newcastle kept going. There were a couple more substitutions as Osula and Barnes came on. Try to remember who they came on for. I think Elanga went off. I can't remember. It doesn't matter. Voltemada came off as well. Obviously, minutes being managed. He's got a big role to play against Nottingham Forest on Sunday 2:00. What a fantastic Newcastle goal the fourth goal was. It came from one of their corners, which Gordon went out to press the player on the edge of the box and took the ball off him, knocked it up to Barnes. Barnes played it through to Osula, who I must say showed a great deal of strength and skill to hold the defender off. Barnes, moving faster than I've seen him move for quite some time, running through for a delightful little ball inside the fullback by Osula, lifted it over the keeper to make it 4-0. And the last 10 minutes, I'm wondering, are we going to get a 5-0 away win like we did all those years ago when Rob Lee scored a hat-trick and we beat Royal Antwerp 5-0. Sadly, that wasn't to be, but 4-0 is still a remarkable result. Newcastle's biggest Champions League win, and certainly their biggest win away from home, which is what they were talking about to start with. I don't think we've beaten anybody more than 4-0, even at home. Wonderful stuff. Wonderful stuff. They played to a man very, very well. I thought Joe Linton was a little bit disappointing, but still put in a decent enough performance. He certainly didn't let the side down. He got swapped with Miley, who came in, as I said, was very solid. Alanga was super threatening. Gordon was super threatening. I think we started to see a bit of the future with Voltemada being able to get the ball out wide to two wingers who want to push on. Bruno and Tonali running forward to support the attack. That's what we want. We want more of that against Nottingham Forest. So well done to Newcastle. A 5-0, 4-0 away win in the Champions League. I haven't checked, but I think with goal difference, that should lift us almost into the top 10 with 3 points. We'll have to see how the other results go. I think we were sitting in 13th when we were 2 up because, of course, we'll be ahead of Liverpool, who have won 1 and lost 1, but don't have the goals. We're ahead of Chelsea, who won 1 and lost 1, but don't have the goals. So long may it continue. Roll on, Benfica, and Jose Mourinho coming to a ground that he hasn't got a very good record at, with a team who've lost their first 2 games. And news tonight, I've got a ticket for it, so I will be going. Got a long time to wait. Is it the end of October? It's after the international break. Who knows? Might have Wissa, might have Jacob Ramsey in the squad for that game. But yeah, everything's looking up. Newcastle played the way we know Newcastle can play, and we've scored 4 goals as a result. I think that was Newcastle's best team that had out today, other than Tino being missing. So yeah, maybe we swap Burn out for Hall. That's our best lineup, in my view. That's why I was predicting it back on Monday night. Look, I'm not going to blather on anymore. Watch the highlights. There's some good goals to see. 2 really coolly taken penalties. When is Anthony Gordon going to cut his hair, though? What a bloody mess. He looks like Richard Clayderman. Does anyone know who Richard Clayderman is? Do you remember that? Anyway, roll on Sunday. And Postecoglou's Nottingham Forest coming to St James's Park. Surely we can beat them.
Your daily soccer podcast with the Global Sports Podcast Network.